And we're back with Going Corn, season number 4, episode, I don't know, 6, 7, who knows. But
at some point, are you ever going to figure out what episode we're on? Jesus.
I did know it last week, but
no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Go listen. You weren't on it, so you could have at least listened. But anyway,
yeah, I took my PTO time.
You don't have any with this podcast. There's no such thing.
We'll see.
So
we'll see.
I'd like to introduce the jackass on the podcast. That'd be Caleb. You've already heard from him. And then our special guest host today, Kyle Gagliardi, the man of the people.
Welcome. Yeah, I just figured I'd bring back the ratings because last year when I was on with Vogus, we got 127 listens. So let's hit triple digits today, boys.
So, that and Griffle Talk is dead, I've heard. That's what I heard,
Griffle Talk's a fake podcast.
What now? Griffle who?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
it's alive when Ryan Vogus or Gags are on, but when it's just T-Walk, it's
I actually like it because T-Walk's just like swirling his drink and it's kind of seductive and, it gets a little weird.
The drink, that's still a thing, the drink of the week?
Oh, of course. And he's always drinking because it's T-Walk. I mean, it's quality stuff.
If you're ever bored, go to GBL's YouTube page and watch videos of him in 2014 recapping Gas House versus the Stallionaires.
With Kubaki.
Don't forget With Baki.
Yeah.
You won't recognize Baki. He's about 150 pounds smaller.
Well, he's had a kid and a wife since then, So.
Allegedly.
Anyway.
I've heard Spencer's going to be a riot this week.
I heard that as well, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. But
or Narwhal.
They need the help.
No. Narwhals are okay.
Dead. Oh, all
right. Maybe alive.
So, another crazy week. A lot going on. So we're gonna recap that. Do our normal kind of show today. So we'll get it started. I'm gonna start with my own. So this is how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna start off with my own series, and then the other guys will, and then we'll talk about the other 3 going around.
Can we also put it out there that there's a tornado going on in the background of where we live?
So you may hear sirens.
Yes.
Just be aware that may happen. So
rest assured, we will have games tomorrow.
Yes. The wind was howling in today. Went out to the fields today, and
it's supposed to be like that tomorrow, Greg.
Yeah, no. I think it's supposed to shift though, because it said it was one way today, and then it's supposed to go.
Tuck told me on Fenway it's going left to right, so I don't know how that correlates.
Yes, that would be correct for what I was thinking. So I'm playing on Wrigley, so it'd be blowing out. So
correct. Oh, Greg's hitting 3 dongers this week instead of 1.
We'll get to that.
So should your league title be changed to meteorologist or just co-host?
I mean, Tuck was thinking the same thing as me. So are we both meteorologists? I don't know.
Weatherman Greg, make it rain.
So I like it. We'll start with my series, the Noble Narwhals against the Marvelous Maniacs. Narwhal sweep, 2-1 wins in both games. Kyle Schaff with 2 solo home runs, 1 in the first and 1 in the 5th for a walk-off. And then in the second game, Dave and I hit back-to-back home runs, and we win 2-1 in that game as well. Home runs for Tony Lucido and Kevin Vrug in the first and second game, respectively.
About time you swung the bat. Jesus.
Yeah, off a fast pitch, too.
Who threw it?
I was going to say who's throwing.
Oh. Well, that's a stretch, but still, good swing.
Anyway, don't dog my boy Van Kyken. So yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
Low scoring game, good pitching game, but yeah, hard to come by the offense. The Maniacs, we only gave up a total of 4 hits. The 1 hit we gave up in the first game was that home run that I gave up to Tony. Otherwise, no other hits. So that was kind of a big story. So we did enough to win, and our pitching held up. I just think part of it was we, had a good pitching performance there. So, yeah, so not much there. Crazy. So,
Greg, you hit a home run. Don't be so humble. That was a big moment in that series right there.
It was a home run, You
love
my first of the year.
It was a game winner.
It did feel good.
Yeah, technically. Without that, you don't win. Yeah.
True. But
give yourself some credit, man.
No, I won't do that.
No, the Narwhals are 5-3 and looking up. You're making the Riot look like a bunch of little girls. Okay, seriously.
That's what people are saying.
That's what people are saying.
That's just on the rumor mill.
Yeah.
So,
That's on the
Caleb, why don't you talk about your series? You kind of got back on the wagon here a little bit.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. Per the Liner season, we won game 1 12-0 and lost game 2 10-2. So, don't really know if there's a silver lining there or just the fact that we're really inconsistent. That's just been the story of our season. One day we'll hit the ball, and then the next day we'll forget that we're actually throwing it, and it looks like we're throwing a Rubik's Cube up there. So at some point we'll have to figure it out. I think this week is going to be a nice shot in the arm. I'm excited to see what Luke Balish has. This will be my first chance getting to play with him. I'll get a nice 2-game stretch from Colin before he leaves. But yeah, I mean, we finally hit, which was great. Mark Richards had a great week. I went 6 for 6 game 1 with 6 homers. That always helps.
Yeah, that's okay.
But game 2, I mean, it was just we weren't throwing early strikes. Game 1, we were hitting the board early. We got them to roll over. Jeff had a few flyouts. Chandler's just not a good hitter in general, so that wasn't really an issue. And then game 2, we were not hitting the board, and Garrett made us pay, and yeah. But I was overall pleased. Saw some good stuff from Burritos. I'm excited about his future.
Carnitas.
Carnitos?
Yeah, at some point we'll figure that out. But we'll take a split. That Melonheads team is not a 2-6 team. I mean,
no.
If they can make their way into the death bracket, I think they have the chance to make a Final Four run without me even batting an eye. Wouldn't be surprised if not getting to the championship when Garrett's there. Jeff can throw strikes. Matt is one of the best fast pitch hitters in the league, which people don't realize or know. And John Lytle's figured out how to throw strikes. I mean, to be 2-6 at that team, I would not be looking at the schedule and seeing a 2-6 team ever in a year before and be as scared to face the Melonheads. So just be careful when you play them. They can play. So.
Yeah. So, Gags, why don't you go on to the Barnstormers?
Yeah, we ended up facing off against the Porter County Porkers. I got that right on my first try, Greg, so take that.
Yeah, I can't, so I'll admit that.
The first game was honestly just a story of Ty Bothwell. I mean, he was huge for us. He had 3 home runs in the first game alone. We scored 6 in the fourth. I mean, Tuck was hitting the ball well, and we ended up winning 8-3. I threw 2 scoreless with 5 strikeouts, no big deal. And, that was game 1.
The pitching stats.
Yeah, exactly. I'm chasing your 0 ERA, Caleb, so watch out. Game 2, we ended up winning a close one, 7-5. I mean, both these games, the Porkers were in it basically until the end. And I don't think a lot of people realize it since they're obviously playing while we are too. We've been in a lot of close games, and it just seems like we've come up with timely hitting. But I think the reason we were able to take game 2 was because Ian wasn't pitching that well, and Al Freeman had a rough day on the mound as well. So, yeah, we ended up taking that series, though, with another sweep to improve to 8-0 on the year.
All right. So, Barnstormers keep rolling. Sounds like pretty much what most people kind of expected to happen.
Not me.
We thought we were going to see, going back to Caleb's series, we had rumors that Garrett wouldn't be there at all, and then he showed up for the second game. So that tends to happen for them. That's kind of why they've been kind of inconsistent, I think, because Garrett hasn't been there as much. But moving along, we're going to go to the Flamingos and Sliders. We've said multiple times, Ian was on the podcast last week and predicted a sweep for the Flamingos.
Nailed it.
Didn't understand who was on that team.
Sorry, Ian, I love you. Bottoms up.
That was a burgers row there for the Sliders, Jack.
Has someone checked on Ian the past week and a half? Because I just am really confused in his mental headspace.
Griffle ball. I mean,
we'll get to that.
Will we?
Yeah, Robbie, Jack, John Edingberg, and Brett Detmar. Yikes!
Solid
so
team.
They win 8-2 and 5-2 on the Corn Shed. Doesn't look like much happened there. I mean, Flamingos struggled to hit. Vince did really well, it looks like. Hit 600, but
shocker.
Not enough to kind of help out the team. Grant struggled again, it looks like, just from the stats I'm seeing here.
Hey, Greg, can I make a comment on Vince real quick?
Sure.
I feel bad for the guy.
Ooh.
It seems like he's been on some bad teams in the past couple of years. I mean, last year he was obviously on one of the better teams, but they choked in the playoffs. But he's been a monster every single season that he plays in Leroy. And I don't know. I just kind of feel bad for the guy. He's not getting far in the playoffs or being on good teams.
So as I look at it, though, he actually – so they lost that second game 5-2. Vince was the only one to give up runs in that game.
Really?
Yep.
He must have been wild, I'm assuming.
I just took a closer look at that. Yeah, I mean,
he's not wild. He just doesn't throw hard. That's the problem. And that Sliders team is
experienced. Hit. Yeah, the one he brought last week can hit.
Yeah, yep. That makes sense.
So that's where he can get himself in trouble. But the thing is, I mean, Vince is a guy. Vince has stats with his pitching that will always put him from a $40 to $48 player. But in a lot of ways, when you get into games against good teams, like it sucks because to put yourself in that elite conversation, you have to be. When you look at winning games against elite teams, you need elite hitting. Like you're not going to see, in the last 3 playoff series that I've played in Leroy, I've seen a total of 5 pitch to hit counts. So, I mean, the ball is going to be on the board, and if you don't have the ability to hit it and put the ball over the fence, you're going to struggle. And I think that's where he, in a lot of ways, he has the numbers or stats, the ranking to be in that ace conversation or that elite conversation. But his bat, oftentimes against elite pitching, can't carry the load that his arm can. Because it'd be different if we could all throw, if I could throw a 5-inning game or Vince could throw a 5-inning game, life would be great. But when you
take that as one
inning, I mean, that's what hurts when you have to have everyone pitch an inning. So I would say that's a tough argument to make because pitching, I mean, obviously you need guys that are going to hit the board and throw up zeros, but you're going to do that for one inning. Can you put multiple balls over the fence? I mean, that's what it's going to take against good teams. So
So Caleb, tell us about the Sluggers.
Not a surprise here. Game 1, they beat the Riot 13-1, and then the Riot kept it close in Game 2, 5-4. Tim might need Tommy Johns after his last inning on the mound in that one. But I mean.
Matt Kuna, new addition this week.
Correct, and he was good, but, I mean, you have to –
Sluggers are a really good team.
They're a good team. I mean, if you're going to beat them, you got to hit. And, I mean, there were a few, obviously, slow pitch counts, but I've been really, really surprised. Well, surprised isn't the right word, but Alec Gerlach has been dominant, like dominant. I mean, Eric's playing at about a 48.54, but Alex at a 44.95. That's the highest he's been, and that's the highest he's been since.
Yeah,
I mean, when he played for me, he was only a 36-37.
He's got a 2.4 ERA, only 4 earned runs over 10 innings right now.
Yeah.
So
he's been really good.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, and this is an interesting take I'm going to make about the Sluggers. They've had Colin the past 2 weeks, which has made it seem like it is. Eric's deep runs the past few years, he's made with the complete lineup. I don't think Brian Travis and Cole Deardoff are going to be enough hitting-wise to be able to offset what they're going to do. Now, do they still have the ability to win? Obviously, I think they're a top 3 team in the league, but I don't think the mindset, at least of me and maybe a few other people that have seen a lot of Leroy, when I look at that Sluggers team, I'm not scared of them like I was in 2019 or 2018.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, 2019, that team was unfair. String. That was stupid. I mean, they pulled every string and were just in the right spot at the right time. Like, I mean, John Gibson, barely was able to get on that team because of some salary hits.
I don't know how we took a game off of them in the World Series, to be completely honest with you.
I mean, you were a great team last year.
We did have a nice 4. That's true.
So,
I mean, it was hitting, right? I mean, pitching was. I mean, you guys were about even pitching wise.
Yeah, so. I would say pitching wise, but they had the better hitting team for sure.
Yep.
Correct. Which is so ironic because you look at stats. Tim and I have actually looked at this. the past 3 winners, or the past 4 actually World Series winners, they've had the lowest ERA.
Yeah.
But they've also in the round before the World Series and the World Series themselves have had the higher batting average and home run total.
Yeah.
Hitting wins.
Correct.
Yeah. Because you need good hitting when pitching.
Pitching is good.
So,
correct.
For sure. So, Gags, round us off with this Tacos-Badgers matchup.
So, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the Tacos were winning a wiffle ball game in Game 1. They were up 2-1 going into the 4th inning. And I honestly, because they were on the field next to the Barnstormers, I told T-Walk, I go, you better fucking close out this game. T-Walk was probably the reason they ended up losing this game by muffing a fly ball that probably my brother could have caught. And it wasn't pretty. We'll just say that. And the Badgers took it 4-2. Thanks to Jared. I mean, he was slugging for 1,000, and he had a home run with 3 RBIs. And then in Game 2, the Tacos were in it once again, but obviously they didn't have enough firepower. They ended up losing 6-2. I like the addition of Hilligans to the team. I mean, it's obviously
Sam.
helping. Yeah, and Sam. But it seemed like Jason was the one that kind of contributed a little more.
Yeah, they're more competitive with that roster.
We'll
talk about kind of here in a second some of the moves and stuff that were made. But, yeah, I mean, the Tacos are, like, that's what you need. You need to build a solid roster, and he was just kind of, dropping Rat to your Kermit was the right thing to do, and I think he waited a little long for that. But, and
how about
got a little bit of a squad now. Jackson hopefully is coming back soon. Is he playing this week?
I think he's questionable. No, he's not on the roster.
He's not playing this week, but should be back soon, hopefully. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, definitely a lot more competitive, a lot better at that. So
I just want to say one thing about the Badgers real quick too, if you don't mind. Kubaki made his return after
that's right, Kubaki.
And once again producing. I mean, he allowed no runs in this series. I mean, he hit okay, but like he's been that solid piece that
his pitching is really good in Leroy. He
doesn't throw
that ball. He throws well enough.
He throws early strikes, which makes a huge difference.
Also very huge. Yeah, the Badgers, they got a decent 1-2-3 going on there, and obviously Bo's not going to go anywhere else, so they got their 4.
Yeah. Well,
Bo,
for the regular season.
I have some insider information on Bo. They can't count Bo as a key piece of their lineup for much longer. So
cool. We're gonna see ya.
Yep.
Gotcha. Probably the same reason as Ty Bothwell here.
To the land of the cheese. We'll see you, pal.
Both going to play college baseball.
So let's talk some transactions. So let's start off with the biggest debacle in Leroy history. Sorry, Ian. It probably is. I mean, listen to this, right? So Ian apparently texts Tuck and asks about a transaction. Tuck tells him to reach out to this player. He just puts it through anyway. Ian signs Colin Lautenbach to his team for Matt Schwitzer and puts Matt on his permit. Goes through a couple phases, and the Flamingos end up adding Matt to their roster. Time
out. You got to back up. You didn't explain it fully.
Yeah, what's going on with Colin?
So
he had texted Tuck and asked.
Hold on, because this comes up. Because I'll mention it. I'll bring it full circle. So then Matt gets signed.
I like the route you're taking.
The rest of the waivers go on, and then after the waivers are done, Tim tags Eric and goes, "So Eric, when is Colin leaving again?" He says, "Oh, this week."
Oh, no.
Ian immediately just puts up some gifs of, like, what the hell, like, what's going on. Should have probably asked the guy. So, in that,
But you're missing the key part of the story. He had texted Tuck before any of that happened and asked Tuck if he knew how far Colin was going to be here or not. And Tuck had told Ian to reach out to Colin and talk to him, and he never did.
I did say that.
Are you sure? I didn't hear that.
Ian, we know you're young, but come on, man, you got to use your head.
Yeah, I said he reached out to Tuck to ask him about the move and all that.
Oh, okay.
He did say that.
Never mind. Maybe I missed that. Okay,
anyway,
my fault.
So Yes. So now, and let's picture this. Ian has now realized that his number one player he just signed is not going to be with him. So he's frustrated, right? So what does he do? He goes signs a really good player. He signs Jack. Totally good move. This dum-dum forgets to add him to his Kermit.
You bet.
And lets frickin' Caleb sign him to his Kermit. And then it comes out, oh, Colin's around for one more week.
Oh, how that worked out for Mr. Yonkman over here.
Oh, how the turntable.
Exactly.
So, Ian, you can't help Caleb at all. That's stupid.
Ian, you have been awarded 1 yike.
No, that's at least 5.
Oh, wow. Greg just pouring on the yikes today.
Sorry, Ian. I love you, bud. You were on the podcast last week, but man.
Yeah, good guess. That was
Ian,
yeah, he was.
Ian, I'll help you out a little bit. You're always got to give rookie owners one really big mistake. The problem is you are the only rookie owner besides
T-Walk.
Garrett hasn't.
T-Walk.
We've just been consistently on the yike train with T-Walk since the beginning of going corn this year.
Since the beginning of life for me.
Correct. And don't feel bad. You're only in year 1. Jordan's been an owner for 7 years and has never won a playoff series. You're all right.
So,
yikes.
That's a yikes.
Zell.
So, in some other transactions, Matt Dykstra gets re-signed back to the Melonheads on their main roster. Chandler's dropped to the Kermit. Said, I'm never playing again. And then now is never missed a week. Shocking.
Garrett's putting a lot of faith in the fact that Matt Dykstra won't have to have Tommy Johns, but we'll see.
Well, yeah.
Surprised he hasn't had that yet.
Joel Berkey is signed to the main roster for the Riot, and Reinhout is dropped off.
What a move.
To the Kermit.
Who was then picked up by Kevin Vroog on his Kermit.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll mention that when we mention the lineups for the Riot and Narwhal series. And then Ty Bothwell was signed by the Tacos to their main roster.
Got 2 more weeks out of him.
Yep. So yeah. Not the Ian thing was the craziest thing that happened. Ends up helping out both of, it does end up working out for the Porkers and the Flamingos.
And the Liners.
Now the Flamingos have Matt.
And the Liners.
Yeah.
And the Tacos for 2 weeks. Ty Bothwell is a capable bat to put with Sam.
Oh, yeah.
And Hilligans.
Now, yeah, and if Jackson comes back next week,
then there's something.
Piece. So
I'm sad that there's been no love from the Leroy community for me single-handedly making the Tacos relevant.
So anyway,
they're only relevant because they suck.
In the league, Caleb. So
what?
With that ends week 4 in the books. Any other final thoughts from week 4 before we move on to tomorrow, week 5?
The Tacos are only 8 games back at first place.
Only.
Yep.
Only 8. So
that's my final remark.
Week 5 in Leroy is what I like to call movement week.
Yep. It's a pivotal week. Because about halfway through,
you either solidify yourself as a middle-of-the-road team, you can move yourself into the upper tier with a chance to claw for a top 3 spot, or you pretty much guarantee yourself a spot in the death bracket. These 2 games are probably the 2 most important games, that and the 2 games before we start the playoffs in Leroy, because 8 games in, you're still close enough to be able to do something, but if you lose 2 this week, you're really hurting yourself.
True that.
For sure. So, we're going to start off previewing next week here. So Gags is going to start us off. He's going to look at the Sluggers and Flamingos.
All right, let's get into it. We got the second place Squint Sluggers rolling out a lineup of Eric Detmar, Alec Gerlach, Brian Travis, and Cole Deardoff. And then we got the 10th ranked Fabulous Flamingos who are 2-6 rolling out with Vince, Matt, Warren, and Grant Reinhout. The Matt addition's solid. I mean, he's not like a top-tier player, but, I mean, he's a very good player. But this Sluggers team is still leaps and bounds better than what the Flamingos got rolling out. And if Vince struggles once again on the mound this week, it's going to be a long week for them. So you want me to give prediction as well?
Sure, yeah. We'll start with you, and then we'll go around the table.
I I think this is easily a slugger sweep. They'll improve to 9-1, and then the Flamingos would be in some trouble at 2-8.
Yep. Caleb, thoughts on this series?
I say Sluggers sweep, but only at a -120 because
Good
Brian
odds.
Travis is I don't know the word to say it. He just doesn't give me a lot of confidence. And Cole Deardoff, he struggles throwing the ball. There's no two ways about it, hitting the zone. Now, if Rob Warren decides to come out and play like he just won $1,000 gambling on NASCAR, I mean, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with like he's shown, and Matt and Vince can hit. I still think the Sluggers sweep. I don't foresee these being 10-0 blowouts.
Oh, I think both games will be close. So, yeah, I'll throw that in there, too.
Yeah, I say Sluggers sweep as well. I feel like that Flamingos have to be almost kind of perfect to win a game here. Eric's teams always do what they do best, like getting on, making key hits, pitching well. So Brian always pitches better with Eric for some reason when he's on like Eric's team or with like somebody, one of his good friends or something.
The buddies.
Really well with Matt last year on the Turtles. So I think he shows out a little bit more in that case. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be hard for Flamingos to win. So we're gonna take a look at the next series, which this is a big yikes. The Lake County Liners sitting at number 3 at 5-3, and it says the Marvelous Maniacs are number 5 at 3-5. That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's right. Anyway,
Maniacs are 3-5, yeah.
So the Liners are rolling out Carter Vandergren, Caleb, Colin Lonbach, and Luke Balish. And the Maniacs do not have Tony this week. They have Kevin, Justin Deckinga, Tyler Van Kyken, and Elijah Richardson. It doesn't help that they only had 4 hits last week, and they're taking probably their best bat out of that lineup, the Maniacs. So, I think this is sweep Liners. I don't really think it's going to be close in most aspects. CVG has been pitching really well. Colin is Colin. Good pitcher, great, excellent hitter, top, 5 hitter of all time in Leroy. And then Luke Balish. We'll see what he can do. He's not got a terrible pitching rating, though. 7.5 ERA is not terrible. So, but yeah. So, Gags, thoughts?
Yeah, this is easy, and I know Caleb will probably be able to elaborate a little bit more on it, but when you have a team with Yonkman and Colin on it, I mean, it's just not fair this week. And Deckinga, no offense to him, he's not a number 2, so seeing him in the 2-hole going up against the same inning as Caleb, yeah, that's a big old yikes for me. So, Liners are going to sweep here, and I don't think it's going to be close at all in either game.
Yeah, no. Caleb, any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have much
to your matchup?
No, I don't need to say much here. So we'll move on.
Sliders.
Caleb, this is you.
Oh, yeah. The Sliders at 4-4 will be rolling out a lineup of Robbie Zanstra, Brett Detmar, John Enningenberg, and Jordan Moselle. I've got the over-under of Marlboro smoked for them at 7.5. The
I'll pump the
Barnstormers.
over.
Yeah, give me the
Pump
over.
the over? Okay. The Barnstormers rolled a lineup of their ace, Kyle Gags, number 2, Jim Tucker.
Wait,
3,
did you just
Jimmy
say
Hay.
that?
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
Wow, breaking news. Going court history right here. Caleb just called me an ace.
The ace. Well, look at his pitching.
I just wanted to hear from you, and I heard it, so I'm satisfied with life.
Number 3, James Hayworth. Number 4, most of you will see Timmy Angel and be confused. I know him as Big Chair. Here's my thing. Again, the Barnstormers made me look foolish with my preseason predictions. Gags found a way to be able to be at the same level he was. Tuck has been able to piece together games where he gets the same production that he got from Andy Feldy last year, which, in my opinion, was the key to their run.
Yep.
I mean, you and Tuck were good, but having another guy in the $35 to $40 range was everything for you.
Agreed.
Because you either needed a star or you needed somebody to play at that level, and you got someone to play at that level, and he's been able to do that with Kuna for a few weeks. Now he's got James, who is James isn't having the year he had the past 2 years.
It's a down year.
He still does enough to put himself there in that category. I think the Timmy Angel, Moselle matchup is going to be an interesting one. Egg has the ability to play really well. He also has the ability to look like he doesn't know how to play wiffle ball. The question for me resides is, will Robbie take the series over? I think right now you're playing the best of anyone on that field, but when Robbie plays at his best, he's a top 3 player of all time in Leroy. There's no question about it. He is a freak when he's playing at his best.
Yeah.
So will you see his best? The numbers and history would tell you probably not right now, but it's so difficult to guess with the firepower on this team. You have arguably the best pitcher of all time in the league, and John Enningenberg can go off too. So the Barnstormers are more consistent. You can have more confidence in what you know they'll do. It's just the Sliders have so much talent in terms of what they potentially could do. And I think at their best, I actually think this roster is a little bit better than the Barnstormers. But will we see that? Probably not. I'm going to say a split here to be safe. But if I had a gun to my head, I had to choose a sweep, I would take the Stormers.
Okay. I'd say here, I don't really have to say much more, Caleb. You brought up a lot of the good points. So you're going to see Robbie's best. You know what Brett does. John's solid. Yeah, the Timmy Angel Moselle matchup. Can you get runs off Moselle? Are they going to be able to get a bunch off of Timmy or, even Hayworth? I'd say split 2. I just feel like there's going to be both of those games are going to be really close. And I'd say one game you'll get the Sliders barely edging out, and then the Barnstormers winning a game, finding a way to win, as always. So,
yeah,
split for me as well.
I think eventually we're going to have to lose one game. And like you guys have been saying, this team has the experience and they have the talent with Robbie, Brett, and John. And Moselle, if he's on, he's a solid player. But I know Brett's arm is going to be hanging a little bit after this weekend's GBL action, but it probably won't affect him much. I don't expect them to score off of me unless I don't throw strikes. And then it really just comes down to the 2 and the 3 and the 4, because I'm assuming Robbie's going to be able to shut us down as well. Timmy Angel, nobody really knows anything about. He played in GBL last year with the Rippers, helped us get to the World Series, and that was about it. But, he's just an okay wiffle ball player, so it's really up to what he's capable of doing, and he cannot get shelled. Otherwise, we could get swept even because of, James's down year that he's having. But I know James, I have faith in him. He tries hard, and he's a good 3.5. So I'll just be safe like you guys, go with the split, and we lose our first game of the season against the Sliders.
All right. Go ahead and preview the next matchup.
Oh, this one's me?
Yep.
All right, we got Greg's Noble Narwhals. He is not in the lineup. He's got Kyle Schaff, one of the best arms in the league. Wes Ellis, the Orbital Star, coming to play in Leroy. Dave Buzik and Cam Verlan as your 4. You have Cam Verlan as your 4. I'm repeating that because that is insane to think about, because that guy could be – he's a 2 on most teams. And he is
my
1.
2 normally.
Yeah. And then you got the Riot without Kuna, so they're going with Marty. I don't know anything about Andrew Sitter, but Greg off the air told me a little bit about him. Tim Wilcher and Joel Berkey. I think this is a Narwhal sweep because, like we said earlier, the wind's going to probably be blowing out. This Narwhals team can hit, and the fact that Cam is in the number 4 hole, I mean, come on. They should be able to take care of Tim and Joel. So I got a Narwhal sweep here.
So, Caleb, do you want to talk about Sitter a little bit in this pickup here?
Sure. Circa 2015, 2016, Sitter was a top 3 pitcher in the league. This was back when we threw from about 42, and when we saw anything above 75 miles an hour, we shit our pants. So when we saw Sitter and his ability to hit the board and do it at a consistent rate, we all thought he was going to be the Mecca. I-65 pretty much ruined any chance of him having a profitable Leroy career. I can't tell you how many weeks whoever team he was on was just praying to God there wasn't an accident, because if they did, Sitter was going to fuck him out of about $1 or $2 of salary weekly. So he hasn't played in 3 years. I don't know what condition his arm is in. He's been ripping about a pack of Marlboros a day ever since that started. Could he do what he does? I don't know. If he comes back and is able to pound the zone and give up no runs, I mean, that would be one of the greatest comeback stories of all time. That might be an E60 moment for future Leroy. But I don't see it happening. I have the hashtag, not Watergate, but hashtag Colgate Noble Narwhal sweeping this week.
Wait, no Obamagate?
No, we're not. No Watergate, no Obamagate.
We're canceling those?
Hashtag Colgate.
Got it.
Colgate.
Anyway.
Glad we're on the same train. Build the Narwhal.
Yeah, I know Tim has been he made this transaction at about 5:45, 6 o'clock tonight, right before rosters were due. And so
would he ever penalize himself if he didn't get it in time?
I have seen him penalize himself before.
Damn.
I have.
Respect.
He is fair with that. He's been asking me since last week what my lineup was going to be, and I turned it in at about 5:50 today to try and make sure to do it at the last possible second. Because
sneaky, Greg, sneaky.
Anyway, and Gags on the water pipe.
No, that's Caleb, not me.
Oh,
I mute myself when I need to do things.
So
I don't.
You don't care.
So yeah, I knew Tim had something up his sleeve, and then now he's on the immediately goes on the Facebook group trying to blast me for playing Wes over myself. But I mean, it's the play to do. So he's available.
I don't think you'll ever see Greg as happy as you will tomorrow, sitting in his new chair, eating his ranch seeds and keeping book.
Correct.
Greg, manager of the year. People are asking.
I mean, it can't. Like I said,
you are killing it this year, Greg.
Well, I mean,
it's either him or Tyler Walk. So
yeah, that's what I've been hearing as the other name too.
So
we'll see.
So yeah, Cam being in my 4 spot is amazing because that's just. I mean, Cam is definitely he's my 2 normally. So
Greg's turning it to that lineup today.
Wes was we went out to the fields today. Wes was throwing a little bit, and he was ready to go. So
Wes also played in some GBL this weekend too, so he's fresh.
He sure did. Yep. So he's ready to go, and I'll pick a sweep for myself as well.
There you go.
Moving on to our next matchup will be the Tacos and the Melon Heads. The Tacos 0-8, rolling out Jason Hilligan's Ty Bothwell at number 2. Why? I don't know. I mean, I get it.
He should be their number 1.
I mean, Hilligan's is a good pitcher, but I mean, he's only got a 6 ERA, does Ty Bothwell. So,
and that was really only in one game, Greg. I can attest to that. He really only had one bad inning.
So, yeah, so that's kind of crazy. And then Sam Stahl, Tyler Walk, and then the Melon Heads rolling out Borkowski, Peter Clark.
Oh, legend.
Wow.
Garrett Lytle for the second, John Lytle and Chandler Kimmel for the lineup for them. I mean, adding Ty is a big help for the Tacos. Jason and Sam are great pitchers. It'll come down to T-Walk. Can he make that play? Can he make that play? Can he, pitch well enough not to give up a bunch of runs?
Well, I can say that I'm his cousin. I'm his cousin. If anybody does not know that already, I'm his cousin, so I can talk shit to him. Oh, sorry, Greg. I just had to put that out there.
That's fine. I know.
Well, there's that.
We'll see.
So, this may be controversial, maybe not. I don't know what you guys are going to say.
Don't steal my
Who cares if it is? Say it.
Shut up with you.
Come on, Greg, get into it.
Bullshit.
Make the take.
I am. I'm not like freaking Brandon.
Pardon Greg's take. Here we go.
Every time. Jeez. I'm not going on Twitter every week after the games are over and saying, "Oh, sorry, man, I got it wrong."
We're waiting on you. Hack it up, Hendrick.
God, dude. Tacos split.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
All right, well, Caleb, do you want me to go real quick?
He's going on mute. No, I've got a few things I want to say real quick.
All right, well, don't steal my takes. Thanks.
Okay. Then you better go, because I was going to make it up as I go, so you kind of go.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet. The Tacos are getting their first win because Ty Bothwell is good enough, and they have Peter Clark playing in the first game. The second game, the Melonheads will destroy them. So I think it'll be 2 lopsided games.
The Tacos are going to get 2 wins this week.
Oh!
And here's why. I think Ty Bothwell, Sam Stahl, and Jason Hilligans will pitch enough. And as long as Tyler doesn't completely just shit the bed.
Tyler, just throw a strike.
Just throw strikes. I think Jason and Ty will be able to hit enough to be able to beat that team.
Yeah.
You have to pray that John and Chandler are going to throw strikes on the back end, and you have to pray that Garrett's going to get there. I mean, he's
also
got
that game's on PNC Park that may be blowing out to left field. Just
correct, which could favor the lefties. So I don't know. Call me crazy, and we'll see. Tomorrow I may wake up and absolutely regret this take, and I may actually predict something differently in my comments. But right now, as I see it and I say it, taco sweep.
I think we can confirm, guys, it is hashtag taco time.
As long as it's from Asada.
Ooh, great tacos.
Kevin Novotny, not a big fan. Found out.
Asada?
Makes me sad.
Oh, their margaritas are good. Can you at least agree with that?
Talk about the last series, your brother and the Porkers.
Okay. The Porter County Porkers.
Nice.
The most confusing name in the NWLA. They're rolling out a lineup of Ian Garavellis, Jack Hilligans, Mason Capouch, and Owen Winters. The Bush League Badgers at 5-3 are rolling out a lineup of Ryan Bogus, who has consistently stated over the past week and a half, demanding a trade from ownership. Jared Youngman will not oblige. Jared Youngman will be hitting second, having an up year.
Jared also wants Rat.
Third. Correct. If heaven is anywhere, it's apparently on the Badgers.
And it's not on the Blue Tacomas.
No. Hitting fourth, it's Bo Hofstra. We'll see how Ian responds to league criticism. I mean, he has been the butt of many rookie owner jokes this week. Owen Winters, I think that can't be understated, making his first appearance. Owen was a $45 player last year. Followed me on Twitter the other day, Morris Chiefs 2022.
Yeah, he followed me the other day too.
Right. He thinks he's being slept on by the league, so we'll see. I always get a rise out of seeing 19-year-old kids thinking that they're being slept on by entire wiffle ball leagues.
Stop sleeping on him, Caleb. Jesus Christ.
We'll find out.
He's a bomber too. Respect him.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually tweeted that or not. That's just the stereotypical horrible thing to say. So, this is a tricky one for me. I mean, Bogus looked good in GBL this weekend. We'll see if he still hits the zone. I mean, obviously, I think he will. My brother's playing the best wiffle ball he's played ever to start a season, which makes them very difficult to beat. I mean, he's playing at an MVP level right now.
Yep.
Jake has been cheeks. His batting stat right now overall, he's a 746 batting. That's lower than...
Wait, 7 as in a single digit?
$7.46 is his batting
okay.
Overall stat. So, again, in batting, he was $1 above what I signed Cole Feldy for last year.
Ralph Gagliardi's hitting better than him right now.
I mean, Bobo would be hitting better than him right now.
Also true.
And then Bo Hofstra, who is hitting the ball really well and wanting to be drafted in the first 3 rounds of the MLB, so is not pitching hard at all. In this series, I think Jack Hilligans and Owen are 2 very interesting storylines to have here. Jack's actually played decently well. He's hitting at $56, which, I mean, he's hitting .682 with 6 homers, 10 RBI, and he pitched at $45, 1.2 ERA. So I honestly think if Owen can pitch well, and Ian can, figure out the hitting and the pitching in some ways. I mean, Ian's only $25 right now.
Yeah, he's having a down year.
Which is, I don't think, characteristic for where he should be.
Correct.
But I'm going to say split here just because if Jared wasn't in this lineup, I would say Porker sweep, honestly, because I don't think Bogus alone would be enough to carry this squad. I think Bogus and Jared are enough. But I think if Jack and Owen play like they could, this could actually help the Porkers. Could you imagine a team with Ian, Matt, Mason, and Owen? I mean, I don't know. You bet Jack Hilligans is a wild card with his availability and whether or not he's going to be on Cedar Lake or at Leroy. So,
yeah,
I say split.
Greg, you want to go or?
Go ahead.
This matchup being on the corn shed actually intrigues me because
Yep.
typically in my experience, it's tougher to hit, for power on that field. So it'll be interesting to see, but the Badgers definitely have, I think, the power advantage if you're going to compare the two teams. So with that being said, I'm going to go with a split as well. I think the Porkers pitching will be enough to maintain them a little bit, but the Badgers will probably edge them out. And that's my take. Split.
I'm gonna say Badger sweep.
Ooh.
Yeah. Think they keep it rolling. They did have 2 close games against the Tacos, and they got swept by the Maniacs.
Also true.
Looking to get back on track this week. I think Jared having a good week in Griffle Ball and great week in Orbital carries it over to Leroy this week. So
aren't the Porkers on a 4-game losing streak as well, Greg?
I believe that you are correct.
Yeah, so this is a make or break week for them for sure because if they end up getting swept here,
this is a big week for
Caleb,
teams.
that's a great take.
Well, and here's maybe a point we can elaborate off it before we get into the question bag.
Yeah.
Let's go around the circle. We all agree that the Porkers, this is a must-win week. Name another team that this is a must-win week for and why. Must-sweep week and why.
Must-sweep.
Or not get swept. One of the two. Must-sweep or not get swept and why.
I'll start.
Go.
Melonheads.
Yeah.
They're 2-6. I mean, if they want to get back into real, contention, they have to do something this week. So they can't get swept. So they have to, make something happen this week. So that's kind of my thought on that one.
I'm going to go with the Maniacs. I think right now, they're obviously in the middle of the pack, but if you can't even try to get one win from, the Liners, you got the Porkers that are right behind you, the Melonheads and the Flamingos. Don't worry about the Tacos. But, the Maniacs, I'd say you can't get swept here this week.
For me, I think for this week, especially since Jordan needs it, I think the Sliders need a split here. Just for the sheer fact that they need to believe for once that they can compete with top-tier talent. They're 4-4, which notoriously they've been bad to start the year, but they're 500. They're just above the cut line, sitting in 7th place. And if the Riot hadn't played and absolutely dismantled the Flamingos and Tacos the first 2 weeks of the year, they would be above them in the 6th spot. If they can find a way to split against you guys, I think that would go a long way for Jordan's confidence as an owner and just the players that play for him in general to believe that they can finally have – because I really do believe this is the most competitive roster he's had by far. And if they can get a win and they can see that they can compete with a team like you guys who, by all stretch of the imagination, is a team that is probably – it is a championship favorite team, if not being in the championship game. I think that would be huge for them. If they get split, if they get swept both games here and move down to 4-6, they're not in danger zone. But I just think for their psyche halfway through the year, if they're going to make a playoff run, they have to start beating good teams. You know what I mean?
Hell, no. That makes sense.
So
yeah.
Question bag?
Let's get through this nonsense. So
Greg's thrilled.
Well, now Tim just fills up. I started putting it in the Players Association just because I want more people to be involved, and he asked about 12 stupid questions. So, Rob Warren asked, though, question for Gags. Are you the most underrated player in the league? In my opinion. Do you feel like you deserve a little more respect as a top 5 player?
I think last week I finally got a little bit of a rub from you guys, but I don't feel like I'm underrated. I think people know what they get out of me, and that's consistency. And I think that's been a big strong suit of my game, is that I usually am going to go out there, I'm going to hit close to 500, and rarely you're going to hit a run off of me. So I don't know. I think I'm properly rated. I don't think I'm underrated.
I said last week I think you are a little bit, but
I want to hear what Caleb has to think too.
I think in terms of Leroy, I agree with you, actually. I think you're right where you need to be. If I actually had to put it, and maybe we can go through this too, maybe not. You guys tell me if you want to or not. If I had to put my top 5 players in Leroy now,
I like that, yeah,
on a list, I'd have you at 4.
I had me at 5, Caleb.
Okay.
I thought about that as well.
Okay, I would go myself. I would go Eric. I would go my brother right now, and I would go you.
I would think Vogus is probably better than me.
Yes, I would. I had Vogus at. I had Vogus at 5. So.
I think me and Vogus and then Leroy, that is, are kind of the same player though.
Yeah, and it's tough because I think in different ways they're better. Like I have Kyle Schaff up there too at 6.
Yeah, I do too.
I would say 5-6 range, which is.
He was my 3 or 4, I think, Caleb.
Okay, he was at 3 or 4. Okay.
Yeah, for me.
Okay, but no, that's where I have. I would say, to me, I've always explained it this way, and Greg, add anything if I'm missing it. I've always explained Leroy in tiers. You have You have about 8 players that could take me out of the equation. You have 7 guys that could all, if I wasn't in the league, win an MVP at any point. And then after that, you've got another probably 12 to 13 guys that could all be an all-star. Maybe not.
Those are like the Daves, right?
Correct. Those are your Daves. Those are your Jack Hilligans. Those are your Garrett Lytles.
Hayworth, guys like that. Well, yeah.
Correct. And then you've got your middle-of-the-road guys, all your threes, the guys that'll win or lose you a game. Then you got the dudes that are out there to steal from Sam Suds. So that's the league, in my opinion. So, but yep.
So next question: has the hashtag Fire T-Walk been replaced by Fire Rat? No, they are both the same.
No, we said hashtag fuck T-Walk and Fire Rat. That's what it is.
I also heard cancel T-Walk circulating, but that might have died already.
I mean,
that's as dead as the Rivers.
Okay. So pretty dead.
Yeah. Brian Vogus says, what's different about this Barnstormers team from last year that can help you finish the job and bring the trophy home?
I think last year's team was better. I mean, if you look up and down the roster, we don't even know who our 4th guy is, but once again, I know I said it about myself, but I think it's just the Tuck way. We play consistent wiffle ball. We're never going to have that blow-up inning. Yeah. And, we're always going to make contact with the ball, whoever's on the mound, and we're going to see our pitches. So I think maybe we're more level-headed and consistent this year, but I think last year's team was more talented.
All right.
Caleb, you got an opinion on that? I'm curious.
I do.
Yeah.
I think what's different about this year's Barnstormers team is actually a pretty simple answer, but a pretty powerful one. Is it's your 2nd year in the league, full year as a team.
Yeah, full, correct.
You know what it takes to win. I mean, you got a taste of the championship game, realize where you fell short, know what it's going to take differently. Mm-hmm. Do you have? I agree with your take. Do you have the ability to sign someone that's going to be a Feldy? Probably not. I think James can get there, but I tell you what, I am always more scared. Scared isn't the right word. I'm always more on edge to play if I get into a playoff series or if I play a team of on average 30 to 35 or $28 to $35 players that have played 3 to 4 years in the league, than having 2 guys that are above 40 that are either rookies or second-year players and a bunch of role players. Because at the end of the day, if you know how to play in this league and you know what it takes to win, you'll do enough to do that.
Yeah.
And experience matters. It matters a whole ton. And if you have it, it's a big advantage to have because you'll know how to play the game the right way. So,
Yeah.
All right, moving along. Will Matty D actually ever retire? He tags the "I'm not leaving" from Wolf of Wall Street, so that answers that. Tim asks, why did Greg schedule a vasectomy this weekend and not tell anyone? Anyone know where his balls are since his ham wallet will be sitting on the bench Wednesday? Stay mad, Tim, that Wes is about to carve you up. So, Garrett needs a guy to fill in for him game 1. I told him Austin Warner is available. He says, quote, now I got Pistol Pete stepping up. Thought.
I mean, just from the sheer fact that Austin Warner's probably carrying 3 diseases, I'm good.
Yeah,
Ebola, coronavirus, and what's the third?
Ebola,
malaria.
Malaria. There we go.
Will Matt Schwitzler play for every team? No.
He won't play for the Liners.
He won't play for the Barnstormers.
Unless Grant drops him without adding him to his permit.
That won't happen. Are Sliders actually contenders for the first time in their history? Maybe.
No. As much as I
Negative.
hope they are, they're not.
You know, I mean, they have some great players. It just will Moselle step up?
Will their players actually believe that the Sliders can win a playoff series? That's the question that needs to be asked.
True. Tim says, I'm driving home from work and there's a tornado in front of me. Should I race it and will I live? No and no.
Well, he did live. We can't confirm that.
Yeah, he keeps
to answer that question. Yeah.
So, Zach Turpin is getting shunned by the league. Thoughts? I don't know. There's a lot of people that have players that will play.
I've never had a conversation with Zach Turpin.
Huh?
I've never had a conversation with Zach Turpin.
Well, he keeps posting his phone number every week saying they will play.
And everybody avoids him. Tim goes to see Leroy's Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, no. He didn't even spell it right.
Anyway,
he put a J in
that. Anyway, does Jack save the Porker season? No, because they need some more help.
Yeah, they need more than Jack.
They took off Matt and added Jack. If they would have had Matt and Jack,
who did they have before Matt?
The question should be, does Owen save the Porker season? Because Owen could.
Because, people are sleeping on him.
Well, I mean, he played really well last year. He's like a $40 player.
Owen could save their season. I don't think just Jack alone could.
Yeah, so no on Jack specifically. They need other pieces.
And Shane's had a pretty good year in Leroy, too.
Yeah, but can he come consistently every week? He's working again, so I don't know how much he'll be able to come.
And that's a big yikes.
So, how superior is Tim Wilcher as a commissioner compared to Rob Manfred? Leroy started in May, and MLB may not even play. I don't know.
We should have demanded more pay, honestly.
We should have. That would have been great. Is there any questions here that I missed? Oh, the owner's chat. How much will the Flamingos win by?
I think we got to that one.
Anyway, what does Going Corn think of renaming the corn shed to Mordor? Don't know. Thoughts? Anyone?
I don't even understand that reference.
Mordor, Lord of the Rings.
Caleb and I are out on that reference.
Lord of the Rings. Okay, moving on.
Don't watch that shit. Sorry.
How much does an overnight stay in the camper cost? Not renting it out. Too bad, too sad.
I heard that it's getting posted on what's the site that you can rent out?
Craigslist. Switching to Crest.
No, I think Greg's looking for T-Walk to book.
I've always brushed with Crest.
Airbnb. That's it. Airbnb. Check it out.
Will I-65 screw the riot like it has in 2016-17? I sure hope so. That would be great.
Wow, that's rude, Greg.
I mean, he's getting in a hired gun to try and face me because he knew I wasn't going to be playing. So,
that's it.
Will Tim and his entire team need to remake their Profession of Faith?
Was this a cult?
That was Caleb's question. Don't.
All right, then now I get it.
So, and I think that is all of the questions. Oh, Way Too Beautiful asks on Twitter,
Thank you.
are any Leroy teams going to come out to United Whiffs?
The fuck is that?
It's a tournament being held in New York.
Oh, who cares?
$300 a team. Answer, no. Don't.
Caleb, you're probably playing in that, aren't you?
That's in October.
There's rumors.
Oh.
Rumors have been swirling.
And we just started speculation for everybody in the wiffle world.
So, anyway, any other last things to mention before we end?
Gags, it was great to have you on.
Yes,
it was a pleasure to finally be invited back on, so your ratings can see a significant increase.
Yikes! Okay.
I've been milling around the idea.
Are we gonna get the OTSN bump?
OTSN's dead.
Ooh. Oh. It had a good run.
No, it's still alive, barely.
Barely.
So.
I was thinking, Greg, at the end of the year, we should do a panel of everyone that we had on as a guest and do a pardon the interruption type show.
Ooh. That's good.
Gosh, that's going to be a lot of people.
You do it on that live stream like you did for the draft with that unique setup and whatnot?
I could see you being a much cooler and more precise J.A. Adonde. Thoughts?
I was going to go Michael Wilbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respect.
So, yeah. So, again, thanks, Gags. Thanks, Caleb, for being here. I know we're all kind of spread out today again. So
we survived it, though. No tornadoes here.
Yes. No tornadoes have taken any of us. So, props to that. So
hopefully it doesn't rain tomorrow, guys.
Yes, that's the one thing that could screw a lot of things. So
first pitch at 6:15, regardless.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Caleb would say, we'd be playing in a tornado.
Hour where no one can even pitch
from the commissioner's desk.
All right, with Brantley.
All right, and
Hendrick.
That's gonna do it for us. This has been Going Corn.
We'll see you.
Bye.